everybody, and welcome to a quintessential wild ride with Steve-O. Now, if you have 5 children at once, that's quintuplets, right? 5. If you've got 5 people getting down in your bed, meaning you and 4 chicks, that's a fivesome. And man, is Bret Michales just cool about talking fivesomes on Rock of Love. I mean, dude, this guy doesn't even do podcasts, like, ever. No idea how we got him. He was just super stoked. He's a bro. And man, he talks about his health condition, how he's not a victim about it. He talks about not having money, having so much money. Like, we filmed this outside the hangar where he keeps his private jet. Like, the guy's on fire, and what a rad dude. It's like having a unicorn on the podcast. So really enjoy this one, and let's get into it. Okay, so here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, people of the universe, I bring to you an American hero, a treasure. What do you say? It's Bret Michales.
My brother.
Dude.
It is an honor to be here. I'm bringing to America on here a treasure. You are a treasure, my friend.
To prepare to speak with you on a podcast, you kind of think like, oh, well, let's see, like, let's look him up and sit there and see if we can find him on a podcast. Right. Like, you've been on like one podcast before?
Yeah, one. I think it was me and Rick Harrison from Pawn Stars.
Yeah.
And I'm not making this up. The amount of stuff we do when we're out on the road, we'll go into a city, and I love doing podcasts. I love doing stuff, but by the time you get into the city and you're doing something, you end up doing radio. Then you end up doing the show. You end up doing a bunch of stuff. But to sit down, this may be the ultimate right here.
Well, I mean, I'm just the thing I'm trying to get at. I'm gonna call you a unicorn. I mean, like, people
I'll take unicorn.
Like, it's it's a real rarity for you to do a thing like this, and I'm just wondering how did I get so lucky? It's like I asked Mark Cuban, how did we get you?
Right. So here, that's a good question for Mark Cuban. You know what I mean? Honest to God, this is the truth. When I said I'm excited to be here, I'm excited to be hanging with you. The fact that you're rolling up here in the RV, this is how I live my life. Like, when you pulled up, I got to tell people this. The reality is we pulled up, we're hooking this thing up, you're finding shore power. The invention you made, I got to say this, the invention you made to keep this coal in here and the noise down, the amount of things that we do out there rocking the world, but the amount of moving parts that go into it, and it's just who you are, what you're about, what you stand for, the fact when your sincerity, the craziness, the reality, all that stuff is everything that is rock and roll. It is everything that's raw rock and roll.
Well, right on, brother. It's an honor. I appreciate the kind words. And man, texting with you, I'm just thinking, like, this guy can't actually be this nice, like this.
First of all, thank you. And I said, we were laughing. I go, I'm warning you now. I have lead singer long texts. I don't know how to do sound bites. Like, I'm not like, yeah, cool. Or
right.
All of a sudden I realized, I look down and I go, it just hit me as I'm texting you. I have lead singer long text. These things are like 3 pages of text.
And great grammar, like spelling. Like the letter U for the word you.
Yeah, right. No, I went old school.
Yeah.
I spelled it all out.
No emojis.
No emojis.
Yeah.
No emojis.
It's remarkable. So we have a dear friend in common, Shauna Zablo.
Love Shauna.
You guys got very tight, and I don't want to alienate the listener, the viewer. Like, right. Shauna Zablo, I call her Jackass Mom. She's like and she hates that I call her, but she's just like a protector of us Jackass guys. And going all the way back to 2003, she's been started out as the assistant to the Jackass director, Jeff Tremaine,
right?
And just went up the ranks and is now like his business partner, I suppose, like just
That's
his
correct.
right hand, like producer extraordinaire. And you guys work together with Jeff Tremaine directing
Right.
Nothing But a Good Time.
Right. Absolutely. Jeff, first of all, Shanna we just like now, I'm a loyal guy. I'm friends for life. Nothing. I can't even remember any friendships along the way, even through thick, thin, that haven't stuck and remained. And one of the best people, we went in to do Nothing But a Good Time, and we were talking about some of the craziest moments of my life. And I said, we went in there and we just started talking about life, and all of a sudden the camera was just rolling. We were just doing like this. We were riffing and telling stories. And Jeff's like, this is the best ever. Like, it wasn't, there was no pulling teeth or, I truly, I will tell you one thing, through my good, bad, and ugly, I'm one of those people that always forever grateful, and I'm passionate, and I live in the moment. Like being here, I'm living in, I was excited when you were pulling up.
Oh, dude.
I'm like, get in here, we'll hook you up here.
So
It's great.
excited. And to be clear, Nothing But a Good Time. This is like a documentary adaptation of a book about 80s hair metal.
Correct.
And it came out on Paramount Plus. It was directed by Jeff Tremaine.
Who's
and
badass.
It was
Who's
just
badass.
like a documentary about just the debauchery of the 80s metal
Correct.
scene. And hair metal, to be clear. It was about
Absolutely.
hair metal.
Yep.
Like, you were just crucial to it. In that, they interviewed me for it. And I
know,
said,
I saw it. I had lots of questions, but I'm letting
right.
you.
I said a thing in there. I think that the Look What the Cat Dragged In, the Poison album. I seem to recall that I shoplifted it, and I remember being conflicted about listening to it. I said this in the documentary. I said, man, I had I was conflicted about it because look at the cover, like, those dudes looked so hot. And then
This
I was
is
like,
conflict.
I know, but I was like, why didn't I say, like, you actually looked like hot chicks on the cover. The cover of that album, you looked like hot chicks, and it was like, it's a little tough.
Right. It was. So here's the thing. Before we get to the cover, what the going in? You got to remember, I grew up in a small town, Pennsylvania. My dad's a veteran. My mom worked at a correctional institute. Right.
Wow.
2 sisters, and it was when you grow up in a small town. My thing. You're talking about shoplifting. I said I borrowed. I went in and could not afford the Kiss record, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like your older, less attractive brother, right? We did the same things. I'm just the older version of getting there right before you did it. And I went in there, and I'm not kidding you. I had a leather jacket. I slipped the Kiss record inside, and it formed a square. And I was smart enough to know this is not going to fly going out of the store. Not as much technology then, no camera, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I got away with it and went home, and I was like, this is great. Took the shrink wrap off it, listened to it. But one thing for us that I knew, I said, if I was to say what is one of the things that I bring to the table, is I'm one of those guys that I'm a drealist, right? This is a weird word, but I'm a dreamer and a realist. So you have to have the dream. Without the dream, you don't know even there's no target. You don't know where
you
you're
can't
going.
hit a bullseye if you're not aiming for a target.
Thank you. And for me to be able to go in there and dream it, but then where a lot of my friends missed is the reality of what you have to do to make that happen, right?
Yeah.
And I realized we played every single bar on the East Coast. I'm talking moving the pool table out of the way. Like, I would be lifting this with you, so the drums could fit in, and you're playing and there's like 3 people watching you, and the one guy's like, you guys suck, or play that song. Can you play this song? You're like a jukebox, right? And you play 3 sets, maybe 5, right? Different sets a night. And I said, guys, if we're going to do this, we need to go out there. We need to shock the world and get them to come back and listen to the music. And that's what the first album cover was. I mean, glam rock, hair metal, whatever you wanted to call it, we were sort of at the very beginning of it there with Motley, and everything
Sure.
that was happening. We all kind of, the GNR, everything that was happening.
GNR came later, for
little
sure.
late, about a year after,
GNR
2
was
years.
like 87 or 88.
We were like 84-ish, 85,
Yeah.
and then the record hit. And this is no lie. People people can't believe when I tell them this. We were the first independent record to break 3 million copies. So most independent records, no one wanted our songs. We played, we played everywhere. Every band in the whole strip's getting signed. Everybody, nothing. I didn't give up. What happens with me when I get kicked in the face? I don't get mad or give up. It makes me more pissed off.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Inside, there's this thing that boils and is driven, and I'm like, all right, now you just pissed me off. Now we're gonna come back harder, right?
Right.
And we went in there, and we went to every place, and Poison made it a party. And what people started to love, just like now with the Party Girl I'm doing, they come to the festival, and you have to have good songs. If you don't have an Every Rose or like the documentary, Nothing But a Good Time, Talk Dirty to Me, all these songs,
Sure.
you still got to have the song. You still got to have the goods, right? And we went in there, and this was you're reading all these magazines about Kiss in a, Learjet, and their signing day and all. Ours was sitting in a warehouse in El Segundo, California. I'm not making this up. On the floor, shrink wrapping our own cassettes and albums. So if you have Cat Dragged In as an album or cassette, I may have been the one that shrink wrapped that.
Dude,
I'm not making that shit up. Like that is
Yeah.
I literally sat there and we had to put 1x1s in them. So the stores
Right.
could advertise. And I'm thinking, this is nothing like Hit Parader magazine that I read. There's no limo.
Right.
Remember in Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
Sure.
There's no birthday party in here for me, right? Like
Right.
Spicoli. That was me. I was in there, but our work ethic, and I thank our families for this. Our small town work ethic is truly what got us there, and I'm good at the gap. I'm good at not giving up and finding that thing that gets us from point A to point B. That's it.
Now-
And partying a lot. I like to enjoy a good party.
Well, okay.
And host. I like to host a good party.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I like to treat people good. You know what I mean?
You were hanging out with Dee Snider.
Right.
Do you tour with them or was
Yeah.
that-
So the Party Girl, what happened was all my friends, you name it, we've been on the road with everybody. And Dee Snider's a friend.
Dude, I love him. I love that guy.
His energy, like yours, like ours in here in your awesome RV, is a great energy. So I do about 3 or 4 songs. All of a sudden I get the crowd D, and I'm saying, are you ready for this? Because I'm ready for this. And my solo band, the Bret Michales band,
Of course.
I land on the ground, pyro goes up, D comes right out. We're not going to take it. I want to rock Highway to Hell. Then he brings me back out. I do Nothing But a Good Time. Then we bring Lou Gramm from Foreigner, or we bring, you name it. Everybody has come out and rocked on the Party Girl and had a good time.
Yeah, man. I can't say enough good things about Dee Snider. You said that the Look What the Cat Dragged In independent
Correct.
album, no label.
No, our own label. It was Cyanide Music, right? Then it was just Sweet Cyanide Music. Ourselves, we put up the money to make the record with a company called Enigma Records. 2 brothers. They had a distribution warehouse that you could print the albums, ship the stuff, right? And every other band on the strip's getting signed, everybody, right? And they're bypassing us. And we have all these good songs. We have every venue we played was sold out. So the live show was this audio visual experience, right?
Uh-huh.
And everybody that came to that, I got to say this, I'm a fan of music, right? So the energy that's here, when I get on that stage, it's the same energy. It just explodes. Like I get out there and like last night, we were playing this huge amphitheater just before I saw you today. And we run out on that stage, this big thrust goes out, and I'm on my knees like slapping hands. And there's 3 or 4 generations of fans just having the time of their life, but they know all of a sudden I'm like, all right, everybody, hands in the air, and all the hands we all start clapping. I said we're gonna hit the first verse, and everyone, it's like a family tradition. Everyone goes right into Talk Dirty to Me. I said this is a song that started it all off for us, and boom, and we just an hour and a half hour, whatever it is, of just hit after hit.
Yeah. And do you tour relentlessly?
I do, and I love it. And it as a diabetic, I'm not going to lie, I try to always have the mentality of victory over ever being a victim.
Sure.
I'm one of these guys. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for this sitting here hanging out with you, all your friends and family. But it's one of those things where I never let diabetes get me down. My dad and mom set me down and said, "This is a card you're dealt. You can go two ways. You can bitch about it for the rest of your life, or you can suck it up, find a way. You just have to work harder at it." And I take that attitude on stage as a fan of music. I'm looking out thinking, you're excited. They're having a great time. I'm excited. And that energy just turns into it's a complete party. In fact, I know you're all over the place playing, rocking, doing stuff. You have to come to one of the shows and
Dude,
come
love
up,
it.
not only sing, but literally we have a Congo. We have this big Congo thing. Come on and do a Congo thing with me in the middle of nothing but a good time. We break it down and
Dude.
the crowd's going nuts. And out on that thrust, you're surrounded. Like it's awesome. But it's hard to describe it till you feel that energy.
You want to talk about something that you will never understand until you feel it for yourself? Then let me tell you, there is life before you've experienced a bidet from Hello Tushy, and then there's life after. And after, you just can't live without it. The idea of smearing poop on your butthole with toilet paper would just absolutely drive you nuts once you've experienced the fresh, clean butthole that you get from just pressure cleaning it. Man, I love my Hello Tushy bidets so much they're on every single toilet in my house. You're going to love it too, man. I'm telling you. No more killing the earth by wasting so much toilet paper. No more scratchy, itchy butt because it's not perfectly clean. And you can get 10% off your first order from HelloTushy.com if you use the promo code STEVO. Plus, it comes with a risk-free, hassle-free 30-day return policy and a 12-month warranty. But I'm telling you, you're going to have no problem with it and you're going to love it. If you go to HelloTushy.com and use the promo code STEVO, it's 10% off your first order. You can have a perfectly fresh and clean butthole for the rest of your life, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You just don't understand it until you feel it for yourself. So get on over to HelloTushy.com, use the promo code STEVO, and let's get back to it. We got to check each other's tour schedules, and I live in Tennessee now.
Say that one more time.
I live in Tennessee.
Gotcha.
So if I'm not on tour and you're doing a show in Tennessee, then boom, there,
If you're not, we're just going to find it. We'll come pick you up. We're going to get you. Or we're going to
come
drive, or
pick
the
me.
RVs. Or,
Yeah.
we RV our way, all right?
Yeah.
We RV our way, but if you wanted to do something like Boardwalk Rock, it's sold out in a couple of days. It's 60,000. And it is
Insane.
us, Shinedown, Nickelback, Def Leppard.
Yeah, you were telling me about that on text.
It's Ocean City, Maryland.
Yeah.
I've driven that, just so you know, Tennessee-ish. I
Yeah.
won't say exactly where you're at, but I'm saying Tennessee-ish. That drive up, you shoot across 40, you come up 81,
Yeah.
and we'll hit Ocean City, Maryland, and we will kill it, or any of the arenas this summer.
Man, that Nickelback documentary on Netflix,
Which is supposed to be amazing. I haven't seen it
I
yet. It's
loved
great.
it. I loved it.
It's great, right?
Absolutely fantastic. It's like how they could be so vilified. They didn't do it.
I didn't get it. So they're my buddies, right?
Yeah.
And I'm one of these guys, you got to know this about me. Nothing takes me off course. People, this is what's hip. This is what isn't hip. This is what, this is one thing that if I ever say one thing, I got to stand up for my solo band, myself, Poison. We've just stuck to who we are. So this is hip right now to play, or this isn't. I know what I like, and that's what I play. In other words, I think Nickelback writes some of the greatest songs in the world. There's every song's a hit, and I'm like, you guys are great writers, and I know a couple times they were bummed. A little bit of pushback.
Yeah, right?
I said, what's your pushback? You're selling out 2 nights at the arena? I was funny. I go, look around you. This is awesome.
Right.
Of course there has to be assholes in order to fire you up.
Right.
I don't mean it like that, but you got to have critics. If everyone loves you, then no one loves you.
Sure. I mean, like,
You
until
know.
you have haters, you haven't made it.
Yeah, thank you.
Right.
And trust me, then I know I made it because we had some haters, serious haters. I've got some old school snail mail to prove it. Look.
Yeah. But then on the other hand, you know, Nickelback, they're doing just fine.
They're great.
But how about Warrant? It was Warrant, right? They had on, like, Beavis and Butthead comes
Winger.
out on
Winger.
not
Winger,
Warrant.
yeah.
Yeah, Winger.
It was poor Kip. Dude can play, talented, and if you become the butt end of something, what
God
I've
damn
learned
it, I
with
feel so bad I called him Warrant, and it was Winger. Yeah,
That
but
was the
it's
nail in
okay.
the coffin
It's
right
okay.
there.
They got thrown into, right? And I think what happened for a lot of bands, if you let it get to you and you become embittered, right? Let me say something. This is the first time I've ever said this.
about the Beavis and Butthead.
No,
with the
no,
Winger guy.
no. I'm gonna go.
Okay.
I'm gonna take it up. My dad said I have a little extra energy, but I don't take any medication for it.
Great.
So it's gonna fly out, right?
Love it.
I've never said this before. I got to get this off my chest, right? What's funny is you grow up. I love sports, so I'm like a rock and jock, right? I love sports. I love doing stuff, but I love music. I'm like that perfect, right in the middle there. It hits, and it gets me fired up. It keeps my diabetes in good, keeps my blood sugar in good control, right? But here's what's funny: you grow up and you play. I got into music to break outside the box. Because for me, I was working at, this is where you're going to work. You're going to be on the loading dock here. And trust me, I've worked a lot of jobs. Loaded Purina dog food, probably underage. They didn't have child labor laws in my day, right? You just worked. And you were proud to do it, right? I worked as a maintenance guy at the Villa Leo Resort. I can fix shit, you know what I mean? I can work with you on the RV if we need to invent something, You do too. Yeah. I watched you out there. You're a genius with everything going on. And your crew and friends.
I'm so proud of the fact that people were complaining that these camera mounts would swing. They're like, the camera's swaying. As we drove down here, I was drilling that blue thing over there, the doorstep over there.
It's amazing.
Now, no more swaying cameras.
I just got to shake your hand. That's the shit right there that makes you for real. And I'm a guy like you. When I see it, I have to do it. I can't, so going back to this, you live this life and they want you to live outside the box, right?
Right.
Then when you make it, right, you say you finally have that moment, and it's hard work and luck. They all come together at some weird moment in time, right?
Luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
Correct. That's exactly right. And I'm going to copy that if you don't
Good.
mind.
Yeah,
right. The harder I
Steve
work, the
copied it,
luckier I
too.
get. TM. Trademark. But the funniest thing is for me is they want you to live outside this box, right? And then, God forbid, you break at something, right?
Yeah.
So go with me. I just refuse to stay stuck in that box. And that's where myself and my career hit. So what happened is all of a sudden they have you in this box, and if you're going to be 80s, and I love it. I love hair metal more than anybody, right? I'm honored. And my point is, but you weren't allowed to do anything else. So all of a sudden I tried to step, I have Americana songs I wrote in the vein of Tom Petty or country now, right? Yep. Kenny Chesney, Jimmy Buffett and me have done more shows together than anyone. And I just refused to be stuck. Not because I was fighting to get out of it, but because I said, I got into this to live it my way, right?
Sure.
So all of a sudden I'm out on these big country rock festivals, Jimmy Buffett. Then all of a sudden I'm on an alt fest in Louisville, and we're rocking we're rocking the world, right? And we're doing an alt fest, but most of them are big rock festivals, right? But I just like, and again, we'll get into all this, but like all the TV shows, I win Celebrity Apprentice because I went in there as a diabetic, and they said, "How much money do you want to donate after you win?" And I said, "Every penny of it." I'm superstitious. It would have been a curse for me to pocket.
Sure.
I won this money and it's supposed to be for this charity, and then I couldn't do it, right?
Right.
So I do a ton for diabetes veterans, pets, and in doing all this stuff, that's part of every city we play in, we find a charity, right?
Yep.
And the one thing I've learned is that giving back. I can't explain how much great karma. I don't ask for it, but that great karma comes back.
Sure.
And you make a lot of friends and fans and family along the way. And in saying all that, I tell people, don't, especially my daughters, I'm like, live the life you want to live. Have that target, be a Drealest, dream big, but work your ass off for that reality and making it happen. And wherever it falls, it falls. I didn't get to play.
And that's
Go
what
ahead.
you wanted to get off your chest?
Yeah, no, what? That was a lot. You notice I suck at sound bites. You're like, where the
all
fuck?
good.
Where's he going with this? Right. So what I want to get off my chest is that the very people. This was what I meant. The very people that are supposed to be the ones that swear they're the ones to help you break out and live outside the box are sometimes the very people that put you right back in it.
Right.
And as soon as you step out of it, they don't know what to do with you.
Right.
They don't, all of a sudden you're doing a reality show. They're like, you can't do that. No one's going to watch you do a dating show
God.
or
My
rock
God,
my
man.
RV. They're like, no one wants to see you work on an RV.
Well,
And
I
then they
mean,
become hits. Then they love you.
Mm-hmm.
Then they love you.
And you've just been doing you the whole time, so you just keep doing you. That's
Keep
all you ever
doing
have
you.
to
That's
do.
the right way to put
you
it.
really set it up nice.
I mean, like, if we're to look at, the 80s was just so crazy. So crazy. And
into
then-
the 90s. Don't
Right,
you know
into
what
the
I mean? It
90s.
slid right into that early 90s and even through, like for Poison, even through Nirvana and all that. I thought Nirvana and all these bands
All
were
the grunge,
great.
right.
I brought Alice in Chains' first arena show was with Poison, and I invited him. I'm like, you guys, I love you guys, man. You got to come up. Then they came to my house. Jerry still owes me for a go-kart he wrecked straight into a rock at my house. We had a go-kart track.
Nice.
I go, you're going way too. He became you for a minute. He became crazy, right into a boulder. Anyway,
I think if you ask, like, Motley Crue,
Right.
like the grunge becoming the thing in the 80s, it was like,
Sure.
like this is a super downer of a time because, like, the ride kind of mellowed out and everything. It was like, oh, what are we going to do now? Like, oh,
Right.
not, and then so the late 90s is probably like a pretty rough ride to have been like, oh man, we were there and then we're here.
Right.
And then you do the reality show in like the early 2000s.
right.
And all of a sudden, is it fair to say that because of the reality show,
Right.
The Rock of Love, that as a solo artist, with your solo
Right.
band,
Yep.
that the Bret Michales band went on to eclipse the success of Poison.
So no doubt, reality TV. And I'll make you laugh when I say this. There is no doubt, Rock of Love. With the girls, first of all, were rock stars. The girls were crazy. And that show was as real as it gets. That was alcohol-induced insanity, and it was dating. And I said, I don't know I walked in my first day. I said, I don't know if we're gonna find love, but we're gonna find something on this show, right? It's gonna be good.
Okay, I got a real bombshell for you. Right
Go
here.
ahead, go, please.
Okay, I forget what it was. I forget what year. I want to say maybe it was like 2010, 2011, something like that.
Right.
Forget what the idea was, but I'm going in there to this production company which famously produced Rock of Love,
Right.
Called 51 Minds.
I'm very aware. Was it Chris Abrego and all of them?
it
Yeah,
was- yeah,
I love
100%.
Yeah.
Okay, so I go in there.
Good
And,
dude, by the way. Good dude.
Oh yeah, big
Yeah,
time,
great
big
dude,
time.
yep.
And I'm blushing for what I'm about to say. But like, I go in there and we're talking about it, and I was like, I've got this idea, and I want to like pitch it to you guys, and like, I said, like, I just so trust you guys as a production company because I
Right.
just could not have been more glued to Rock of Love.
Right.
And it was this guy Chris. He says, "Oh, you're glued to Rock of Love, huh?" He says, "Let me tell you that show did no justice whatsoever to how crazy it really was." Like he says,
they had to cut it down. He didn't. He's not. When I
Almost
say
like they need to release like the unrated.
What
like,
maybe we shouldn't.
dude, and
You're like,
I-
you know what's so don't put it out. Yeah.
Or you can. It will be
Right.
great, but you just made me laugh. I go, Chris, one time said to me, he goes, "We've done some crazy shows before and some crazy." He goes, "What's happening? What's that going on? What's that going on?"
Okay,
He's
this is what he said.
God,
He said, "You have no idea." He goes, I don't know if it was the first season. I don't know if there was what it was, but he goes, we go into tape Rock of Love with Bret. We haven't even turned on the cameras. We have not even turned on a camera yet.
Right.
And they're all in the house. We're gonna start filming like the next day.
Right.
And I don't want to be like disrespectful to your family or anything. I'm saying
Understood.
this is many years ago.
Yeah.
He goes, we haven't even started filming yet. Brett's over here having a fivesome.
Can we go with 4.5 some?
He's like, the insanity.
I'm not
like
sure. I'm not sure the one kind of stumbled out halfway through. So it's 4.5.
He's like the debauchery, the insanity. Like we just couldn't show it. He's like, it was just you just couldn't show it. And now I'm actually beat red in my face. I'm like fully blushing.
You are. That's good.
I mean, dude, it was like the way that he described it was just unreal. What was going on with that?
We had some fun, and I'm going to say this because when Chris and them came in. Here's how this worked. Don't laugh. You know what they call me? So they tell me about this idea, right? So I go. They come out on the road and I throw a really good party backstage, and as a diabetic, it's a balance. Because I gotta, I take 4 or 5 injections a day. I got these, the thing running in my freaking arm, and you know what I mean. All this stuff keep me alive and ticking. But there's a part of me that also, I gotta live. I gotta rip it up and live. And when they were talking to me about it, they had this meeting, and there's like 20 people sitting in there, right? And I went in and they laughed their asses off because what are you doing? Everyone's on, they got the computer. We could do this. And I said 2 things. One, my acting sucks. If you get me to act, like if I had to shoot like 3 scenes of something, I can't do it.
Like, can we get it again?
I can't. And then I went, like I said, you got to get it. And if you don't capture it then even if it's, we look fugly in this thing, capture it because I'm not going to be able to.
Right.
Sure. The third time of doing it, it looks, and none of us were in there were actors. The girls, again, were rock stars. They made the show great. But when I went in there, they made fun because I pulled a piece of paper out. It may be the same pants I'm wearing now. I literally went back, pulled a piece of paper out, and they go, is that a hillbilly hard drive? Like, I literally had it all written out. We could do this. What if we do this? What if I said, here's where I will suck. If you put me by a jacuzzi, you remember this was famous in other dating, they set at the jacuzzi and it looks like they're fake arguing.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? There's no engagement. It looks like they're kind of acting. I said, we need alcohol. I want to race motorcycles. I took a lot of cues from you. I'm not going to lie. I said, I need to race motorcycles. I need to be crazy. I said, let's play football in the mud. And it became lingerie mud football, became a league from that show. So we went out, we played and they said to win a date, you got to do all these crazy things. I mean, we had to catch then a greased pig for a date. It was one. I mean, what doesn't say love like catching a greased pig for a date?
Now here's another. I've said this. In the ether before, but there was a point long before I went into 51 Minds.
Yeah, because I need to know more about this story because we could have done this one.
I think it came from VH1, which was the network that did.
Right.
Not a 51 Minds thing, and years before I went into 51 Minds. But I got word that the VH1 network was interested in doing a format of the same format of Rock of Love and Flavor of Love, but now let's do it with Steve-O. So it's like what kind of challenges. If you're trying to win Steve-O's love, like we're gonna bump it up, and they're like, this is gonna be insane. And I heard this, and genuinely, I thought, there's no way I'm gonna let a whole house full of chicks tell the entire world how fast I come. The best thing about a funny story like that is when it's 100% true, and I'd like to say that I don't have that problem so much anymore, but being 50 years old now, I've got different problems, and they are solved by BlueChew tablets, which help men have better sex. Because BlueChew tablets have the same active ingredient as both Viagra and Cialis, except they only cost a fraction of the price. And here's an offer for you to get an entire month's supply of BlueChew tablets absolutely for free. All you pay is $5 for shipping. If you go to BlueChew.com and use the promo code STEVO. Yeah, man. These tablets help men have better sex. And if you think that you could use that help, then go to BlueChew.com and use the promo code STEVO to get an entire month's supply completely for free. All you pay is $5 for shipping. Enjoy, and let's get back to it.
I didn't think that's where that was going. I thought, I'm going to push you out of a plane. I did not.
They're gonna be in one of those. They're gonna be in one of those little rooms. Okay, but they're all gonna be like. just like,
Remember when there was a 2-pump chump? Steve took that down one level. 2-pump chump just went to 1-pump chump.
Yeah.
Done. Good night. He was already laid back watching TV.
Yeah, I was just like, and that was exactly my my thought process. I was like, what do they call it? Flavor of Steve-O.
Steve, I'm done. That's it. Of love.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That's great.
Okay, now, of course you met
Moving
Paul.
on.
Yeah,
Moving on.
You met Paul before,
Yes.
but I always do a bad job of saying, Paul, dude, the viewers have got to be stoked. Paul. Yeah, because since I moved to Tennessee and he moved to Arizona, even though we work together all the time,
Right.
it's always remote.
Gotcha.
Here we're in the same room.
It's a good day.
It's a
Paul-
good day, Bret.
Arizona rocks, too.
Yes.
And Tennessee rocks.
Yeah.
Fuck
Oh
yeah.
my God, Arizona's great. Paul is a musician in his own right.
Congratulations,
makes
by the way,
fantastic
for real.
music.
I know, but
Thanks,
go.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His band is called That Kid Is You.
Right?
He's super passionate about it. He went to school. I'll let you say he went to school.
I went to school for audio engineering and
Right.
music business,
Right.
and I was actually fascinated to learn that you owned your own. Well, okay, so when you're packaging up the records and stuff,
Right.
You have no label. You have like a distribution deal or something. Like
Yeah.
you must have something to get these records out. No.
Yeah, what happened was we played all these clubs in LA, right? And they're signing, they're signing different bands, and none of the big labels. We went. I'm not making this up. Sharon Osbourne's a really good friend in the family, right? And her father at the time had a record label, if I'm not mistaken, Jet Records, and he came down and we had no money, so we live behind that back half of a dry cleaner, and this is going to distribution in a minute. We're behind a dry cleaner, and we think because he's a big record label, they're going to want drinks set up. We got a fold-out table, shittiest fold-out table you ever seen, laid it out, and we went and got bologna sandwiches for a record label. We're like, we cut them up. We're like, we set all this shit out thinking we're going to impress them.
Right. Craft service.
I'm not making this up. I'm not. I wish I was making this up because it makes me bow my head in my
like, cut
excitement to get a
triangles, it
record
looks
deal.
better.
Right. We're sleeping on sleeping bags with our equipment so we could rehearse every day. We'd find odd and end jobs to live, and go play our music everywhere. And they come and he listens to a couple songs. And he just gets up halfway through the song, and I jump off this little teeny stage at SIR, right? I go, whoa, where are you going? We got food. We got 5 songs we got to play. These are great. It's Talk Dirty to Me, I Won't Forget You, hits off of the Cat Dragged In record,
Yep.
right? Mm-hmm. And we hadn't gotten to I Want Action. We're halfway through Talk Dirty to Me, and now we're jumping around playing the song. He stands up with one of the people who came with him. He goes, I'm sorry, I just don't hear the nucleus of any hit. That's what he said. Me and Sharon laughed about this. So I go, what do you mean? I go, what are you talking about? He goes, I don't hear, there's nothing.
The nucleus. That sounds like
I do not
very
hear
specific.
the nucleus of a hit in that song. I go, well, shit, we haven't even got to the chorus yet. Hold on. They left. And at that moment, I said, guys, I am, if I may, I am fucking done. I said, let's go put our money together that we can save up. And it was like $5-6 grand. Enigma Records were great. Bill and Wes Hine, I got to give them credit. Takes a village. And we went in there and we recorded at Music Grinder Studios, right? We went in with everybody, and we lived in the studio for about 5 days. Set almost all the tracks. You know how people always say that first record was raw? The reason it's raw is because there's no money. We were recording, like if you listen to Cat Drag, then you can hear my rhythm guitar over Cece's. You can hear sometimes occasionally people talking because the room mics are picking it up. And then we put it out as a distribution deal, and then it exploded. So we took it on the road, and we started shooting our own videos, right? We shot Talk Dirty to Me in a warehouse. We just went in. We had no money. The director never showed up. So it's just two DPs, cameras, and they shot us we invited our friends, and then the rawness of it. The same song that didn't have a hit became a top 5 single, or number 1 song, I think.
That didn't have a nucleus.
No nucleus of a hit. But things happen in your life for a reason, because that record label may not have been the place for us to be, and here we are 40 years later hanging with you, all you here, and...
Right. Well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's gone down over the 40 years.
A lot.
But you just said, we got the distribution deal. But, to help us understand, how all this 3 million records.
Or what that means, the distribution deal.
So here's distribution. You have an ability to have an outlet that is wider than just me selling it out of my van. Right. So now they have middlemen. They've got all. Then we dove into learning how the business of music worked. There's a lot of how the business works, right? And I at first I didn't know, but I got a quick learning curve. And we went in there with the band, and basically they're like, you're going to this record store, and they only put a couple in there, and then when it becomes a hit, there's a balance. All of a sudden, Talk Dirty to Me hit. And it went from selling 30,000 records next to nothing, and all of a sudden it's at 1 million records, and they're trying to keep up with it. We're doing record stores, and I'm like Spinal Tap. I mean, we went to a couple in Butte, Montana, or wherever, Pocatello, Idaho. We were playing a show at a club, and we went to the record store, and I'm not making this up. Not one single person came. Like, we're just the 4 of us standing behind the counter. Thinking that we're bigger. This is awesome. Nobody. We waited for about an hour. The guy goes, "You go ahead and go," and you're not paid.
Sure.
I mean, you're driving yourselves around, and and then it blew up. It just little luck and a lot of hard work.
And so, if you gotten that record deal, had the guy been like, "I love these bologna sandwiches. I'm going to sign you guys," he would have probably put you in a box. You would have probably lost your publishing. But then here you are, years later on your back end, Guitar Hero comes around and all these, later things that nobody even knew would ever exist.
Right.
And you were able to benefit from it. It's such a great story. I don't think enough people know that about your story, that you guys are so independent.
I love this because it's a deep dive. I'm telling you, not many people know this. When you're publishing and your masters and all these different things, you're a kid. So here's where people get screwed over. We don't know what we're like, I'm so excited, and they're like, we'll give him a limo ride. I didn't even know what a limousine was. I'm like, what? I grew up in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. I'm like, which I love, but I go, I never been in a limo. Maybe at prom once or something, I got to, pitch in on one. You get a limo deal, and they sign their life away. The best thing that happened to Poison is no one wanted it. We kept all of our publishing.
Right.
To this day. We kept all the master rights, the publishing Capital, EMI. We then formed a great relationship with, and it didn't suck. That's all I'm going to say. If we would have been on the other one when our second record didn't hit, we would have been dropped. Like if something all of a sudden Every Rose came out and it tanked, or Nothing But a Good Time, they would have we had 7 record deal, would have been,
right,
and they would have just put us on the shelf, and we were done.
Right. I mean, it's more, I think, than, give a kid a limo ride, impress him, and he signs his life away. What it is like a catch-22, because especially back then,
right,
without a record deal, you're never going to get heard. You're never going to get it out there. You're never going to get on the radio.
Correct.
No one's ever going to know about you. So, you need a record deal to break it out big.
Correct.
But in order to get paid anything, you need to own your rights. So it's
1,000,000%.
It's catch-22. If you want to be known, you can't earn money, and if you want to earn money, you can't be known. And so the people who very, very few people were able to do that, to break
Right.
out and get the radio play and make it really big and hold on to their publishing and make all the money. And if I'm not mistaken, like the difference between owning your own publishing versus signing with a major,
Right.
those artists, those bands that are signed with a major have to sell 10 times the number of
Correct.
records, the units,
Right.
to make what you're making when you own it, right? Is that right? Is it
That-
10x?
It is easily 10x and
Easily
easily
10x.
10x. And here's you. This is such a great conversation, sincerely, because everyone wants like a crazy story only. But I could tell you what makes you crazy. When I hit that stage, I am unleashing all of that I've kept inside me in gratitude. It's weird to be able to come out, and sometimes what's burning me is something that really pissed me off. But when I hit that stage, I'm in love with the gratitude of being up here and the fans that allowed me to do this. I love them. Like, I want to go out and hug all of them and say 3-4 generations, thank you, because you're what kept me in the game. And it's so funny when you talk about publishing. And don't forget, for me, I am I'm truly an independent person. Like, I own our own merchandise company. I kept that. They made an offer.
And you gave me
oh,
this
by the
great,
way, you got
you gave me this great shirt.
look at that delightful shirt right there.
Yeah.
That's a win.
Now that's a
thrilled with
shirt.
Yeah.
Thank you, by the way, for throwing that on. I,
Oh, dude,
I appreciate
wouldn't-
it, man.
It would, zero chance I wouldn't have put it right
Well,
on.
but it's everything you're saying. I'm telling you, one of the things we got to do one of these days is find that gap to teach young artists and them how to come together for better deals. Because even when we got $1 billion we just got this big award, from Spotify. I'm grateful, but there's so many other moving parts. You want your record out there. The movies, they're buying up Nothing But a Good Time. Your College Game Day just did. The March Madness bought up songs. That's amazing. But I still think and live the same way as I did then, that I still got to go out there and work this shit and prove myself. I
Sure.
never got to that spot where I'm like, it's what keeps me going. I love being fired up.
Sure. And I don't know that you have to go and help kids as much these days, because
They're probably way smarter than me.
and
I
at
could
this
tell you,
point-
way more educated.
at this
from the
point,
internet.
major labels are a little bit obsolete, are they not? I mean,
Almost 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like it's almost like the record label is more of like a touring deal.
Correct. And it's, when you go out there and tour, I'm grateful for great promoters. You get out there with the Live Nations, or you go out there if you do it independently. You get with AEG. You go out there, and I tell people one of the things people have to understand. I'm like a Buffett or a Springsteen. There's nights we'll be out playing the stadium or the arenas, and I'm telling everyone next week I'm going to Arcata. I'm going into St. Charles in Illinois. It's 904 seats. And I said, I'm going to enjoy that as much as I'm going to enjoy
I have trouble
Wrigley.
believing that you're playing anywhere with 900.
No, I'm not making this up. Like, we'll be at Wrigley, and then 3 days later, they're like, the business says don't do that. That's a dumb move. I said, no, we're going to. Wrigley was a great gig.
Oh, my God.
And then, and bear with me, then all of a sudden I'm at Arcata. What I was saying is loving every moment of playing there. And again, I want to say this word, GP. So the gross potential.
Walkout potential.
The walkout potential.
Yeah.
You have to make the promoter pay you that guarantee that is the size of his building. If you got 10,000 seats, the walkout potential can be umpteen zillion dollars. When you're playing a 1,000-seater, you're getting the walk out of the door for a 1,000-seater. But I should be able to play, again, going back to the box, if Springsteen used to go play the Stone Pony, but you know what I mean, a couple nights before that, and I'm not bitching about any of this. I'm saying he was playing at the stadium, you know what I mean, and then he's down playing at a club that holds 500 people, and I loved it.
Well,
Yeah.
well, here,
Sorry,
Sorry, I'm going.
What's walkout potential?
walkout potential is if you sell out completely that like the maximum amount of money that you can generate.
Correct.
But with the gig.
And so that's you're getting
You'll have
that
a-
as a guarantee.
You'll go into it with a minimum guarantee
yeah. Oh.
Versus
versus a profit split with the venue or
Right.
the promoter or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And the verses once you've generated enough revenue to clear the guarantee, where now you're into extra money.
Okay.
Then you go to the profit split, and then at the point that you cannot sell another ticket, you've generated the maximum amount of profit.
Right.
Then what you're going to walk away with is your walkout potential.
Okay. So it's
Yeah.
the most money you could possibly
The most
make
money you can
on that
possibly
gig.
make from a gig. Safe to say that no matter what kind of business you run, you want to realize the maximum potential for profits. And if your business is online and involves shipping goods, then the way to do that is with ShipStation, because you're going to get the best rates for all of the different services like the United States Postal Service, UPS, FedEx, and you can use it for whatever online platform you're selling from. If it's Amazon, Etsy, eBay, your own website, it all comes together in the most easy to use interface at ShipStation.com. This is where you get it. And right now, you can get a completely for free trial. Absolutely for free. You can try it out and see if it helps you maximize your earnings potential. So there you go. To do that, you go to ShipStation.com and use the promo code STEVO. One more time, it's ShipStation.com and use the promo code STEVO. Jump on that and make ship happen. Now, let's ride this baby home.
And they'll put like in the contract like GP, like gross potential, walk
Yeah.
out. And then, but all I say to people, it's so simple. Play where you want. Don't let, you want to go play a club you love growing up in, you go in, you work it out with the promoter, say, look, I've got a big crew with us. But we're going to make this fit in this building. It'll be great. And we're easily going to, you know what I'm getting at. It's going to sell out quickly. But he made a lot because you brought a lot of new eyeballs to his new venue, small
Sure.
venue. But then all of a sudden you're out playing the amphitheaters and you make all those, they give you a guarantee. So you both have, we'll call it, you both have skin in the game. You don't want the
Sure.
promoter not to have any skin because then
Right.
they don't got to promote you. So
Right.
they have a risk potential and we have a risk potential. But then my thing is, as much as they want it to be packed and fun, I want it to be packed. So I work it, I go in there, and then the fans have a great time. And
Yeah.
and I said, you're playing bear with me, an amphitheater, and their gross potential is 800-some thousand at night. Obviously, it's a different money level than a 1,000-seater.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Right. But this conversation where we're at now.
And I hope I'm not boring anyone
Well,
to death
no,
with
No,
this.
it's fascinating.
it reminds me of how genius you were on I don't know if it was season 2 or season 3, but Rock of Love started out, you're in the house.
Correct.
You're in a house.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you've got your you're a celebrity, but like it's all rough. Then the stroke of genius to say, hey, let's film the next season. Was it the Bus of Love?
Yeah, we got to the third one, and it was Rock of Love Bus.
Rock of Love Bus.
Take it on the road.
This was the most incredibly genius idea ever. Like,
Thank
hey,
you.
why don't I make this hit show, stop being in a house and stop and why don't I make the whole show become a vehicle for promoting my touring business?
Both. It was both.
Yeah.
Because also for me, I said, guys, I love you, but you've seen, we've gone out, we've ridden motorcycles, we played football, we did all this.
Right.
Let's take this across America. Let's take this to Canada. I think we even went to South America.
That's
at one
why
point.
I refuse to believe that you're doing 1,000 seat anything.
No,
Because
let me.
It's like a
let me
comic
rephrase.
doing like a small club.
Let me
Right,
rephrase.
right.
What I meant by that is the Springsteen effect. That I know Bruce doesn't need to go play the Stone Pony. It's more out of the love, the fact that I love that he went in there, couple acoustic guitars, took his band,
Right.
and I'm seeing it up close and personal. But for me, I love to go out and play. We're playing this year's
Right.
all big festivals, arenas, amphitheaters, and then I'll say I want to go play this venue, this venue, this venue. These are places I grew up with. They gave me a chance when no one else did.
Yeah. It's
You know
like
what I
Bill
mean? And
Burr
we're
will
gonna-
do the Gotham Comedy Club every time.
That's exactly it.
Right.
That's exactly it. Yep. But that going out on the road, that was such a great. You want to talk one day? If you ever speak to Chris again, that was when it went hog wild crazy. It was. There was no stopping. It was awesome.
Yeah, I mean that. I think like, was it ever like the bus element? Did you guys say, hey, was it you personally like, hey, you know what? Like we've done everything with the house. Now let's take it on the road.
Right.
I mean, you had to know, like
I did. I needed to go on the road because it's what I did, and we had a tour scheduled. So we just would go to the cities, like we were playing the Alt Festival, and brought the girls to the thing. And I said, guys, if you keep this real, the show will keep going. And we could have done probably. We did 3 seasons.
I was heartbroken when you stopped.
They're like, we could keep doing it, and I'm like. I said, I don't know if my liver can hold out much longer doing this show because I'm not gonna lie, it was.
How do you look so damn good?
Well, first of all, I'm just going to absorb that and say thank you. But here's
Is there
the
something
truth.
about being a rock star? Because a lot of like D. Snyder looks great. Like
Here's what it is for me. Again, I'm going back 6 years old, type 1 diabetic. For me, just before we came on here, checking my blood sugar, make sure I'm ticking, taking a little insulin, make sure I'm good. The one thing about rock and roll is it everyone used to say rock and roll could kill you. It has kept me young and kept me in the game, and it makes me feel fired up. I don't think any different today than I did when I was in my basement standing with my sump pump backed up, in my house with the water on the indoor-outdoor carpeting, and just to be able to come out here and kick ass and just before seeing you, we were just doing a show last night.
Yeah.
Got done late, partied with my buddy Rick Harrison, his birthday.
Yeah.
And then the next day getting up and realizing if I want to keep doing this, if I want to be around for my family, for my kids, I'm just gonna have to kick ass. We were talking inside about getting on the bikes
bike, yeah.
And the bike that works for me in the house or the gym. And is there one that fits on this RV? Yeah. You know what I mean, I already know where to put it for you. It's going to be my gift.
That's great. Do you hang with Sammy Hagar?
I do.
He's like another perfect example of rock and roll.
Sammy, 77 years old, if I'm not correct. Hear me out on this.
Yeah.
I've known him forever. I never knew. I never once asked him his age.
Right.
And for some reason, I didn't look it up. I thought we were the same age. I knew he'd been around, obviously, before me, but I thought, he's maybe a couple years older. That guy kicks ass. He's an inspiration.
He's
inspiration, man.
It's D. Snyder and Sammy Hagar. It's hard to
same
tell
thing.
like who I love more.
They're both the same.
Yeah.
They're
and
cut from the
now
same.
you like Bret. Like that's like we're talking Mount Rushmore of the greatest. Like
Can I my head be at least half of my head on there? Sammy, D, and half of me, at least half my skull.
Who else is the nicest? Like those guys. You.
Here's a nice. So with that 1,000,000%, the guy. So many of them are great, right? And again, I want to say Sammy. One of the best. If you ever get a chance, I'm not doing a shameless promotion for Sammy, but I'm going to say it.
Please.
We did at my ranch the Sammy's Rock and Roll Road Show.
Yeah.
And it made music history. So I get out my sand rails and I go, dude, we're going Steve-O on this. I said, we're going to ride. We're going to get the fuck on the back of the car. I put Pete, my guitar player, strapped him with a bungee cord over that hot-ass big engine. And me and Sammy, I'm driving, right? Playing harmonica and acoustic guitars, and we did Your Mama Don't Dance.
Nice.
If anyone gets to check it out, there's nothing in it for them. I'm saying it is, one of the greatest guys. D's great. The Night Ranger guys are great. Every Def Leppard guys, amazing, man. I consider them friends. And, Tyler and me, Vince and me get along unbelievably
Vince
great.
Neil?
Yeah, we get along great. I know there's highs and lows, people say, but for me, every time we've ever been around each other, we've had a great time.
Yeah.
Sick.
Now I wonder. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I've heard you talk about Gene Simmons, and I know Gene Simmons is not known for being the nicest guy, but
Right.
Did you learn? But he's known for being a shrewd businessman.
Right.
And did you learn anything from Gene Simmons as a businessman, like being around him and touring with him?
So you ready for this? Gene is a great business person, and I want to say entrepreneur, businessman, right? And I'd like to think that as much as I like having fun, I get it done. And without a doubt, learn from Gene. He taught us what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Be careful of this. Watch out for that. You get excited. Don't sign this away. And the show they put on, Gene's great. And again, I'm gonna take down the mask for a little bit. I'm gonna take the makeup off Gene for a moment.
Yeah.
I bring my kids on the road and they were young. He was doing magic tricks for them. Like he took my one daughter up on stage with them. That's not what who you think he would be. And that took a guy that I already admired and loved up a whole other notch. Because here was this guy that behind it all, he's gonna hate me, super freaking nice.
Oh wow, nice.
I mean,
Great.
Cole talking to you, hey, your kids, let me show them this magic thing, and they were blown away. And then he grabbed him, brought him up on stage, and he just before he went up in the air, and it was it. I already loved the music, and the people, loved the person, but it took it another level.
Killer.
Yep.
When you did the stadium tour with Def Leppard and Motley,
Right.
wasn't there like, I seem to recall Nikki Sixx like kind of having like not great things to say about Poison. And
Interesting, right?
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they're going on the stadium tour. I just wonder like what the dynamic there,
What's weird? Here's another thing. Nikki, same thing. We've been out with Motley Crue 1,000 times. Me and Nikki always hanging. Like back in the day, we'd always, I'm a big Harley guy. We go and ride. Couldn't be a nicer guy. I think, again, I didn't read what Nikki said, and I've had a couple people bring it up. But then when I see him, he's the most inviting. Come in, do this, and I think sometimes there's also part of it. I'm guessing. I want to say this. There's a part of it of a little bit of putting on a badass demeanor, but underneath it, nothing but nice. Like when I see him backstage, how you doing? Great to see you. And if he said something, I don't got nothing bad to say back. I wish I could counter with something, but he's a, you know what I mean? He's a nice guy, and I don't think we would have been.
There's I don't know, I think there's some ego to it. I think there's some competitiveness to
There's
it.
always a little hidden.
Yeah,
because it's not a sport, but there's always a little hidden.
Yeah.
There's always a little hidden. What's weird, if you ask any band, I ask you to ask D this. I beg you. I'm the first guy to give up my dressing room. Like, you guys need to dress. I don't care. I'll stay out in the bus or, we have the Prevost or the RV. And I want them to sound great for the fans, but it makes me raise to the challenge. Like me fucking another band over before they go on, you will never find anywhere in history a band that we cut their lights, their sound, nowhere.
Sharon did to...
It didn't happen. We just, I don't know about all that, but I know we won't do it because it makes me get on my game. Mm-hmm. If they're out there kicking, Night Ranger comes out, man, they're kicking ass. Vince just did a show with me. And he was, we're co-headlining, but he was starting the show. He sounded great. And I go, all right, now it's challenge on.
Yeah.
I get it. Not competitive against each other like two sport teams going against it, but obviously you want to push hard to succeed at stuff, right?
Sure.
You want to, but the other side of me is rolling with the punches and having a great time and I own who I am. I own what I've done, and I own what I do, and I own what I'm going to do, right?
Yeah.
And, the one thing, again, I'll say this, and again, I want to go on record. With Motley, we've toured a bunch of times together. Vince and me have done a lot of shows together, solo shows.
I mean, that makes sense.
But here's the thing. It's their music. They've got great tunes.
That's the other thing, is that Poison Motley, appealed to chicks.
So no doubt, let me throw this in there. I think one of the things that Motley brought and I'm going back to Tyler too. I know a little earlier, there's one of the things we brought is we have a perfect 50-50 audience. They're coming out to have a great time. For us, I can't speak for Motley. I can't speak for Aerosmith. We go out there and we give everything's on that stage. And I think that when you're talking about it coming out there, a lot of that music crossed over where a lot of earlier rock didn't quite have the crossover that Motley or that Poison, Def Leppard. Def
Sure.
Leppard's got a a good split audience. You know, men, women coming out to the show.
Right. And then, like, if not to...
I didn't mean to fuck you up. I got
No.
I got all excited and I
For
jumped
sure.
right in.
I
Go.
love it. But, like, I love Wasp, too. But let's be honest. Like, you're not going
Understood.
to a Wasp concert to see a bunch of hot chicks in the audience.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Sir, that in this deposition, that lacks foundation.
Objection.
Objection.
Circumstantial.
Okay, so the Apprentice, right? I mean
Yes.
it's just it's so epic that like you masterfully just it's like you masterfully just recharged yourself, like.
And that's what. But refreshing what you do and who you are is. This is no lie. I don't go home and think, how do I brand myself?
Right.
What I find is projects, films, music that makes me excited. And I'm like, Apprentice, I wanted to win. I'm like, man, diabetes is huge. It's the third leading cause of death in the United States.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, but let's
I said,
distinguish between type 1 and type 2.
Yeah, so there's three. There's pre-diabetes, there's type 1, type 2. But the thing is that I got type 1 was that happened to me when I was 6 years old. There was no effect from food or anything at that age.
It's not because you were a slob.
Yeah. That is
Nothing but
allegedly.
cupcakes for 6 years.
Allegedly.
Your Honor. That's,
Your Honor, that is alleged.
Right.
I would like that last remark stricken from the record, please.
Like I heard a statistic that Americans born after year 2000, 1 in 3 will develop diabetes because the diet in this country is just so awful and so much sugar and like. So
It'll get you. That's what it does, and that like I said, in going in to do Apprentice, we were filming Rock of Love, right? We're doing the third one. I went in to do, they asked about doing it, and the first time they'd ask, I couldn't do it because we were in the middle of touring and filming. I did it. I'm like, I'm going. I'm 1,000% in, came back, finished that, went and did Rock. And so then all of a sudden the show comes up, a friend of mine's doing Rock My RV that does extreme RVs. And I'm like, oh my God, I knew everything about him. I'm like, I can rip this apart from the ground up, right? And I got in there. I'm like, let's do Rock My RV on Travel Channel. And we went in there and had the best time.
Is that like Pimp My Ride?
It's like Pimp My Ride, but it was that. Yes, but it was people would bring in dilapidated. I'm like, man, this is ground up. You know what I mean? This is a whole restoration going on here. You know, and we just go in and have fun doing it. And we did so many of those kind of shows, but all of it puts you out there. But if you're good at who you are, if you stay true to who you are, you can bring it back to the music. You know what I mean? And that's what happened.
Right, man. And dude, so here you are touring relentlessly, making new music constantly.
Always.
Like we're parked outside of your hangar where you've got like your private jet that I mean it's incredible, man. It's incredible how how much staying power, how just like the work ethic, like
you're making my day. Thank you. For real. I mean, I know I can't stop smiling, but it's made. But thank you though. I appreciate those awesome words.
Shauna describes you this way. She's like, man, like you don't understand. Bret Michales, he's they also worked with Rob Dyrdek.
Yeah.
You know, like he said, like businesses, like businesses, like she says Bret Michales, man, you don't even understand like the business acumen, like the go and
right.
Like what how many businesses do you own? You said the merch is
right. So all of the touring we do, right? And for years and years, one of the things I love to do is I'm a boots in the dirt. I like to get dirty, get my hands dirty. I love real estate. So we have a whole adventure we do, not just REITs and all that, but real estate itself. And one day we're going to come on here and please don't laugh at me. I'm going to do rocks and stocks with you. I'm not
Okay.
giving you the market. It is. I'm a dollar cost average guy. I play long term, right? I'm not. I'm going to make you bored to death. You're
Yeah,
going to
I love
cry.
it. Let's go.
Dude. So the first couple pennies I could rub together, I said, I claimed I didn't know. I went and found the most honest, best person I could find, right? That knew what they were doing. They weren't a mass gambler. Because you don't want to work hard to get, you gamble to get it. You don't want to give it somebody and you wake up and it's somehow vanished, right?
Right.
And to this day, I'm a loyal person, still with me. And if you follow it right, and I'm going to give advice here, I'm giving a little sample away for free, dollar cost average. So what that means is you go in, you bet on something at a price point, you let it make its way up. You can scrape a little off and play with the house's money. Right, then you won, but you got to pay capital gains on that. So if you can let it keep rolling, and there's going to be some bad days, and you just kind of watch what they're going to do. They're going to short it. They're going to long. They're going long. They're shorting. There's hedge funds, momentum players. There's day traders. There's all these different people going against you. But if you just stay calm, if it goes down, don't freak out. Just put a little more in.
Yeah, it doesn't go down. It goes on sale.
It goes on sale. And as long as you don't sell it, you don't lose. If
Right.
it goes down and you sell, I'm not saying you lost, but you didn't
But
do
you
as
lost.
good. You have to buy good.
Allegedly, you lost.
Allegedly, you lost. So I just, that didn't suck. But there's a lot of different, music being number one. That's my love.
Right.
And the rest of it is just things I'm passionate about. But I never let them put me in a box. When I would go on these shows and talk about, like we just did, stocks are like, publicists and stuff. Like, you don't want to do that. And I was like, you know what? Let me just go do what the fuck I do and talk to people and be real. And then I don't got to look over my shoulder. I don't got to remember.
Yeah.
What did I say I did
100%.
last? Yeah. I'm not looking over my
Right.
shoulder. I love your rawness.
Yeah, tell the truth. Tell the truth. You never have to keep track
I
of
don't got to
anything.
keep going like this. It's too
Right.
much.
Right.
Too much.
Dude, here's the truth.
Brett, I've wanted to punch you right in your face since you got in here. But I'm just kidding. Allegedly.
This is gonna. This is I think we're really close towards the end. Where
I got it.
So I don't mind giving up something that I say in my my current live show.
Please.
I mention you.
All right.
I
Is any of it good? A
I
little?
think it's great. I think it's great. I think it's like
I like
to me it's really funny.
Okay.
Like I got this penis tattooed on my face.
Which I can't stop looking at it.
I got it because how else was I gonna find out how long I last before I just have to get it lasered off? Like I'm hanging tough almost a year. I'm dying to get it off.
Dude, I'm looking and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm answering it and I'm going, I can't be serious right now. I'm having fun with this.
Right. And Post Malone
got a-
tattooed it on me.
Oh,
You're like, you
Yeah.
gotta buy cocks. I mean, stocks.
Thank you, Post, for the whole entire show. Who gave a nice shout out to me. I love you, Post Malone.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, is one of the coolest people
Oh,
ever.
dude.
Ever.
Yeah, he's
and
rad.
Dude.
I can't stop thanking him and not thanking him right now for doing that. Because you're answering me a serious question and I see
Right.
it moving.
Right. So I'm relating the experience. It's a
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
A little bit at the beginning of the show. I'm talking about it was one of my plans. I'm gonna be wilder and then I'm gonna raise the bar. I'm getting a dick tattooed on my face, and I say that when I woke up the next morning.
Right.
That where it all kind of comes back together, like you piece together.
I
When
know
I was
it
like,
well.
oh yeah,
I
yeah.
know it well.
And then like this wave of panic swept over me. Like, oh my God, what have I done? Like, what did I do?
Right.
And then it actually lasted all day long.
Gotcha.
This feeling of terror.
It's a weird gut feel. I've been there.
Right. And I thought,
I've been there many times.
and I thought, oh my God, what have I done? Like now I'm gonna spend the rest of my life just like Bret Michales, with a bandana that never comes off my head.
I've got a dick. Well, at least you got a dick. I got a bandana I've had permanently sewn to my forehead.
I'm gonna wear a bandana 'cause I'm thinking I'm
You've
gonna.
only got a penis though in your head.
I'm
At least mine absorbs the sweat.
Right. And I did, like, I bought these headbands. I thought, like, oh, I'm going to always wear them, you know? Like,
You can get them stitched on. It's not much.
It's great.
I know a guy.
Yeah.
It's fantastic, man. So you got this private jet, like,
Right.
it's primarily for touring.
Yeah, it's all business, allegedly. Everything is for business on that. You know?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's but you just went to LA for your birthday.
I did.
And
we go ahead. Go ahead.
You took the jet, presumably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I mean, it was working your ass off. It's your birthday.
Right.
Business.
Right. Of course, a business birthday.
Okay, so
we had a show that evening.
let me like, what does Bret Michales' birthday celebration in Los Angeles in 2025 look like?
So there's two different ways we celebrate it. One, with everybody on the road, everyone comes out and it's a party. When I'm at home, I get such little time with Christy and Maureen and George and the kids that it's usually just small, some intimate friends and family. And but it's really a great time. It's a great vibe, and we have these not as crazy, nearly as crazy as you, but we got these electric motorcycles and go-peds that we can. We're at the house in Los Angeles because they're not real big. In Arizona, they let us rip it up.
Right. Okay.
We got the KX250. We're ripping it up here, there. We go out and we race these, and we get down in the. And we built a little track behind the house out in where we're at in Southern Cal as well, and we live it up. It's great.
So the LA birthday celebration, that was the mellow family.
It was just great. I won't even say mellow, just great family, great food, great
mellow.
celebrate. And then the one out on the road is everyone after the show. It's a good time. We kept going. We did it with Rick Harrison.
Yeah.
And everyone came out and we threw it with him and D Snyder, me, Mark McGrath are all born on March 15th.
Nice.
The Ides of March. And Rick came after us March 22nd.
Mark McGrath, really good at not taking himself seriously.
The best dude ever. The best.
Sharknado,
I want to
let's
say
go.
that. Yeah. But Mark, we had him out on tour, and we're in the middle of doing Poison stuff. Boom! All of a sudden, Mark McGrath, the crowd went crazy. When you don't segregate it, you find out that people just love having a great time together.
Yeah.
And think about what we do, right? We bring a whole arena of people from different walks of life, different thoughts, different political views, and we bring them all together, and they're jumping up and down. I sent you some of those pictures, jumping on their feet, and some of them are, first generation, second generation. Music is, I say music is a universal language meant to excite us, unite us. It never divides us.
You look out into your audience.
Right.
Do you have the thought, man, I get older, they just stay the same age?
Yeah. I look out there and that audience is, I sent you some of the, you're looking at everyone hands up, partying, rocking, and they stay the same energy. Is that a good way to put it?
Well, sure. And I mean, to have you said generations.
Generations.
Like 4 generations of fans. Like,
right.
It's incredible, man. It's incredible. And to have come through everything that you've come through and just be a family guy.
Right. Surviving it, number one.
Yeah.
I said grace of God, because, and I mean this, like I tell people, I don't talk, a lot about this, but I have a strong sense of just faith and treating people great and good karma, good energy, and you find you make a lot more friends than enemies that way.
For sure.
And it's helped me a lot survive a lot of shit.
Yeah, for sure. I think that Big Bang was the universe dividing itself into a lot of different pieces so that it could experience itself. And every little piece of the universe, you're a piece. We're all
of us.
So we're all God, man. And that's faith, and that's how you have your relationship with God, is by just trying to be good to everybody.
That's it. That's it. And
I'm still working. I'm a work in progress, but man, I care about that.
You are yeah, but you know what you are. The work in progress is also what I am, what you are. This is and there's shit. I mean, here again, I don't want everybody to think everything's la-di-da. What it is when shit goes south, I figure out a way to try to make it better. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen. It always happens.
Yeah.
But I live my life as roses and thorns. It's what it is, and you find that balance. You know what I mean? That great balance of and knowing when also, I say this, great friends, great family, and you also know when there's a few that aren't, and unfortunately, you just gotta let them go. They're gonna rip you down, rip you apart, and you don't want that either.
Yeah, man. Yep, that's true, dude. I can't tell you how much I love you, dude. I
love you. I'm coming in for the hug once we stand
Dude,
up.
hell
I'm
yeah.
coming in for the hug.
Hell yeah.
And come on.
with
Right here.
Moon Pie right
Moonpie's
here.
so
This
well
is
behaved this
unbelievable.
episode.
Yeah, I know. She's a real variable.
I hope I didn't put her asleep.
No.
No, but she's a wild card.
She's a wild card.
I know. I saw her run around the hangar. It's crazy.
She's,
doing
she's gonna
great.
jump in a
She's
plane and fly
pooped
away.
out. In Arizona, I call her a dust devil.
It's unbelievable. I'm coming to give you a big hug.
Okay, before we sign off here,
Yeah.
I'm wearing this great T-shirt. Where are people getting it?
Simple. Everybody, if you want to check this out, just come to the concert or go to BretMichales.com. Just check it out.
Boom.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. And it was,
Yeah.
you look good in it. It's the best that shirt's ever looked.
I love it, man.
It's the
I
best
do.
that
I
shirt's
love
ever
it.
looked.
And your tour dates, BretMichales.com.
Everything. We're out on the road right now. All the arenas, the amphitheaters, the big music festivals. I'm out with Def Leppard a bunch this summer,
Yeah.
Shinedown, Nickelback, and then just the Bret Michales. It's an I call it all killer hits, no filler.
I love
Just
it.
a good time.
And there you have it, my new bro, Bret Michales. Now, the audio got a little messed up at the end right there because when we got out of the booth, like, to hug each other, I guess I kicked the cord out of the audio recorder, and that somehow lost, like, 5 minutes. Like, it could have been so perfect. But anyway, man, like, now what I didn't mention, I don't think I ever did mention in the episode that I was in Arizona on a top secret mission to do a genuinely life-threatening stunt that was like top 5 most expensive stunts I've ever put together. Man. And I got it done. So stoked. I got it done for my tour, which I've rebranded the Crash and Burn Tour. Before it was called Super Dummy, and a wise man convinced me that there's a better name. So we were thinking about it. Crash and Burn. Yeah, dude. So now I'm in Canada on the Crash and Burn Tour. And you'd think that it was fucking spring, right? Isn't it April supposed to be spring? But dude, like, point that out the window for those watching on YouTube and Rumble and stuff. Snowing like hell. So much that the power's out at the venue we're supposed to have the show tonight. And that show's not happening. God, Canada. I love Canada, though. And, my tour dates are at stevo.com. So see me there and come see me in Canada. I love you. Thank you.